Hi, book club members. I'm Jen.
And I'm Carrie.
And this is Warhammer 40k Book Club, where we read from a crag. This is episode number 166, and our book is Vagabond Squadron by Robbie MacNiven. It tells the story of a brave Valkyrie squad on fighting against the orcs. That was the combination I didn't know that I needed in my life. We posted several questions on our website, WH40kbookclub.com, and we encourage participation in our conversations via YouTube, our site, or Encrypted Vox channel. Spoiler warning, if you haven't yet read the book, definitely check it out before listening to this episode, as we'll be discussing the book from start to finish in great detail. With that, let's dive in, Carrie. As always, did you like the book?
Oh my God, I love this book. This is right now my front runner for book of the year. I want a movie made out of this book. I want to feed this book straight into AI to make a script. Do not deviate from anything in this book, and then have it create something, because, oh my God. I was actually directing scenes in my head, how wonderfully it would play out on the big screen. I laughed.
Wow, it's hard to top that.
I cried. No, I did. And I actually did cry at the end, because I'm listening to the book, and props to Emma Gregory, who's probably the best female narrator in the Warhammer 40k universe. We listened to her do the Battle Sisters. She's also the amazing voice of Janet Sula and the Caiaphas Cain books. But she has this amazing voice that she's so versatile. And my problem usually with women narrators is that they can't do men's voices very well. She's great. She's able to get that range for the young men. She actually makes them sound like they haven't gone through puberty yet, which is amazing. And she does great range with even the female voices. She can go really high, she can go really deep. It's awesome. And just hearing her narrate some of this stuff just really captured so much more emotion, especially through some things that happened at the end, which actually made me tear up in my car as I'm picking my son up from school. So,
I can't. God, after that intro, I really enjoyed the book. I really did. I thought I agree with your assessment of it just being a really good action story that you could easily follow along with the action and the drama. And it definitely scratched that itch that I get when I read Double Eagle or Interceptor City. It's just very cinematic, the way the scenes are described, right? There's something about the aerial combat that just, I don't know why, it just gets to me.
well, it's
I
not
think
only
because
that,
it's
but
so fast paced.
oh my God, the politics in it. There were so many things that happened in this book that I did not see coming. And I was like,
Really?
Oh yeah, I was like, we're only a third of the way through. What other crazy shit's going to happen?
Yeah, I really did. I liked that. I liked a lot of the characters. I thought there was a lot of fun going on. I stand by my attestation that Robbie MacNiven reminds me of the modern Graham McNeill. It's not lore changing. It's not high literature. He doesn't have a bunch of symbolism and stuff in there, right? It's just solid action from start to finish, and you are guaranteed to have a good time.
Yeah, I think the last book that I was this excited about with all the action was oh my God, was it Death Shroud? Shroud of Night.
Oh.
That's another one I would love to see as a movie. So these are the only two books I would no, I want to see these as movies. It'd be so great.
Yeah, no, I really I did enjoy it. It had a lot going for it. What parts stood out to you?
Well, let's see. God, so much. How it ended, of course. Because like I said, yeah, tears. Just got really attached to those characters, and I knew they all probably weren't going to make it out, but how it ended was just oh my God, you just got me right in the feels. The shock I had that as soon as they did the retrieval of all the officers, the commissar was like, round them up, we're killing them all. I'm like, wait, excuse me. And then to find out that, oh, by the way, Havali knew that the river was fordable. He was just going to sacrifice all of them. But since she said it. Now he actually has to do something. Like, oh, so you're a piece of shit too.
I don't, you know what? I don't know. I will actually challenge you on that front. I think I understood the math equation he was doing. Like, I mean, so anyways, in the 40K universe, right? You can kind of understand that math equation he did. I actually thought that made a lot of sense. We're going to talk so much more about this because I want to talk in the end about whether or not this was all worth it. I have really mixed feelings on this, Carrie. I have very complicated feelings because on one hand, I do value human life, but on the other hand, in the 40K universe, I'm like, yeah, that kind of tracks, to
Except
be
that
honest.
I don't think that he did it based on the math. I think he did it to save face, to make himself seem like a greater general than he actually was. And the only proof that I can have of this is at the end when he's there flouting to everybody the numbers. He's like, see how I did everything well. He did it all for himself.
Well, at that point, he's committed to the bit, right? Of like, yeah, no, I was going to sacrifice these guys, but now I've got to own this lock, stock, and barrel. That one,
because I think
will
it
say
would have
though,
been worse for him if other people knew that he could have gotten them out. I don't think they would have done the math the same. Or he didn't even give them the opportunity to do the math. He took it upon himself. And then when he gets embarrassed, now he has to do it.
ooh, maybe. Okay. Put a pin in that. We are going to circle back to that at the end because I really do want to, oh God, I want to go into this so much. I do want to say really quickly as the scene that stood out, I did like that with the commissariat. I actually, that whole scene I liked with the commissariat because I liked how outraged she was by it. I was shocked by it. And I liked that Havali was also like, what? Like, no. And I actually like that Havali went toe to toe with the commissariat, right? And he's like, you
get 3.
This is what you want to do? You can have 3. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You do not want to be seen as being a bloodthirsty murderer because, and that's one of the things that's always fascinated me with the commissariat. And I absolutely love it. Right. We've seen the funny side of it with Kane. We've seen the serious side of it with the Gaunt's Ghost series. And we've seen the sort of walking both of the lines, right? Honor Bound was another good example with her commissar. It's the line they have to walk, right? Like you have to be something scary and you have to be real business to make sure that people fall in line and listen, but you also can't.
Well, even
there's a point.
Caiaphas Cain talked about it. He's like, you know, if commissars, if they think that you're a butcher, you might find a bullet in your own back before you can shoot anybody else. And he's right.
Well, because they exist outside of the guard structure.
Exactly.
Right? Like you are a political officer who is here. Oh, and by the way, BT dubs, there's one of you and a 500 of us. So walk that line pretty carefully there, right? And so I did like that. I liked that Havali went up there and is like, let's do the math, shall we? Thought that was absolutely excellent. That whole scene was really great. And obviously Welland. We wanted her to save Welland.
Yes, but I did love Carruthers, that one of the officers that she saved. The fact that he came, he saved them against the orc, and he had one of the funniest lines. He was just like, well, I haven't shot this in so long. I wasn't sure I remembered how to. And then when he's the next one that gets picked to replace Welland to get killed, and she's considering speaking up for him, and he's just like, no.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, no, because he even told her, he's like, I messed up. Like, I should have said something way back then, and I didn't, and everything got worse because I didn't say anything. He totally accepted his fate.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty badass, honestly. Mm-hmm. I liked that. And I'm telling you right now, this is going to make up an appearance for the book of the year in terms of quotes. On page 230, one of my favorite things was when Zeke is fighting about them having the combat servitor in the Valkyrie. And he says, it doesn't have a soul, he complained. The God Emperor is blind to it, and that means he might be blind to the whole of Vagrant. No good will come from flying with it. That is like theological, yes, but also superstitious. And I love that entire concept. And that, no, if we have one soulless thing with us.
How the prayer strips he put on the servitors and what kind of saved him for a little bit longer at the end.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I actually really liked Zeke in general. I was I wasn't necessarily moved by a lot of people's deaths, but Zeke's actually hit me.
See, I was hoping that he just passed out, you know?
Same. I was kind of like, well, maybe he'll be alive.
No, I mean, Corey's is not what affected me. Like as devastated as I was for Cass about Corey, that one didn't affect me. Vaughn's affected me, even though I hated him. It was just when the stick bomb went between his feet and he couldn't get it, and he's like, it's like the rogue was saying, "It's okay, I have you," and he just closed his eyes, and I was like, "Oh my god." That, and just as I got over that, then there was the whole thing with Constantina when her boyfriend says, "It's been fun." Then I got all verklempt all over again.
So as any good true American, I love the song "The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald," and my favorite line in that, my favorite line is when they talk about how the cook came in and said, "Fellows, it's too rough to feed ya," and then he comes back in like 30 minutes and he says, "Fellows, it's been good to know ya." That's what that like. I got "Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald" vibes when he says that. He's like, "Oh, it's been good." Mm. That one was a little sad. I didn't mind Vaughn eventually. I hated, I didn't like what a man-child
Yeah.
Vaughn was, right? He's surrounded by all these perfect female characters, and then there's him, right? And he's this like childish man. But
even his male crew is like, dude.
Shijin, I really liked Shijin.
Yeah.
Shijin was easily one of my favorite characters. But with Vaughn, I did like, I like how, yeah, when push comes to shove, I liked that what it took was her being like, "Look, somebody can break your arm." And he's like, "Oh, humiliation." Him going out, though, I also liked when Rogue kind of grabs him, right? And it's just like, it's like the ship held him. He's like, "Oh, okay. All right, we're good." Shijin's death, actually, vis-a-vis Vaughn, when he reacts to Shijin being killed, right? Ugh, so sad. Like the fact that he is sort of he's this petulant character, but he cares about his crew.
Right.
Like Shijin is his friend. That one was sad. I didn't actually like Constantina as a character, so when she actually died, I was fine.
Oh man, I loved her. She was probably one of my favorite characters. She cracked me
Was
up.
she?
Oh yeah. She cracked me up.
I liked her outlook, at least, on the whole thing.
Well, I loved it. Like when she talked to Cass, and Cass was just like, "This is all my fault." She's like, "You can't do that, Chief. You can't take the responsibility of everything. Otherwise, it's going to ruin you."
Yeah, absolutely. That way, pain and madness lies, right? We're going to come back to the second part of this question because we kind of talked about the deaths that hit us hard.
Did
honestly, you like Vagabonds?
Fledgling. That made me sad.
Well, that's because that was so tragic with him giving the thumbs up.
Yeah. Just because it was sudden.
Oh man,
it was like, geez,
it was sudden.
It's like,
God, it was sudden. I kind of felt like it was Robbie Mac being like, "Oh, this is gonna be one of those books, by the way." It's like, because as soon as I got to that part where it talks about the bullet going through his head, I even said that to my husband. I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be one of those books, isn't it?"
I mean, like, if anyone's played like the Gears of War games, this guy was Carmine, right? Oh, we hardly knew you.
Yeah, there will be reams of fan fiction written about you. The part about Fledgling's death that killed me was later when Welland was thinking about it, and he talked about how days afterwards he could still taste
the blood,
his brain and his That's pretty visceral. That's pretty visceral. But the whole scene, when you talk about things that are cinematic, right? Him looking over, smiling, giving the thumbs up, and then it's like, oh.
You talking about Welland, but that made me think of one of the best descriptors in here. I need to write this down in my notes. Is when Welland talked about the sound of war. I love that entire paragraph.
That entire section when he talked about how it can be described to you.
Mm-hmm.
It is like the Matrix. You cannot be told. You have to experience it. And like it's one of those things where you're listening to his description and you can kind of imagine it, right? Especially full scale war like this, especially with the orcs.
Mm-hmm.
Like the cacophony of sounds that you must have, right?
Like something
Cannot imagine.
that movies can't even capture correctly because it's so much.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Or
like I read that passage out to my husband because he's fought in a war or two, and he was just like, yeah, like I can't imagine anything more accurate than that.
Right. He must have, Robbie MacNiven either is a veteran or talked with someone.
Right.
Because it's just, it's such a good description. I also should grab that out as like, I don't know if that's a line or a scene or what, but that was such a wonderful description, especially when Welland is talking and I can't imagine this situation because you've got what's going on in the ground with you guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have all these anti-air going on. You have the actual ships, right? And I can't imagine that those Valkyries are silent. They're not on stealth mode. You have that whole sound going on. You have the orcs. You have their noises. Oh, I can't imagine. But I also like the Mordians are just like, meh. Describe it, but it is what it is.
It's Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday in the Imperium, and we're having our best life. Let me ask you this. So, the Vagabond Squadron, we've kind of talked about that. Did you like them on the whole? And were they the badasses that they were built to be?
Yes. Ooh, jury's out on the second part. But I think that's because they weren't at full strength after losing Vaughn's sister. And I think they were still hurting from that. That said, however, I think there were moments that you could see how they're so badass. Like, for example, Ruffian with Constantina doing that strafing run with all those orcs when the grounds troops are like, well, that's it. Like, I don't have time to reload. And and they're all gone. It's like, okay. Or when they're talking about them shaking the orcs off of their wings.
Oh my God. Although, can we say that one of the funny scenes I did like when Shijen looks over and he's like, it looks like they're trying to saw the wing off.
She's like,
because you can imagine it from the orcs' perspective.
Yeah, because I'm also imagining it that they're not. I'm totally imagine it like I'm thinking of like Wile E. Coyote, right on the very edge of a cliff,
100%.
And sawing, and then he's on the edge. He's on the edge, so that's the part that falls. It's just totally.
I don't think they had thought quite that far ahead.
Like they're on the wingtip, and trying to saw it off. That's what I was totally imagining. And she's
totally.
Like,
they had not thought that far ahead.
Well, no. But she's just like, well, that's
the wing would have stayed up and the plane would have fallen.
Like, she's like, that's just on par for what the orcs do. So
totally. Yeah, I did think that they were, I think you're right. We get to see them at sort of a smaller, we don't get to see them at full strength. But yes, once they actually get into the edgy valley, once they're trying to go through all of this insanity, yeah, I would say that the Vagabond Squadron lives up to their name. I would say for the first 2/3 of the book, I was kind of like, oh, okay. All right, yeah, sure. You've told us that they're like these, renowned badasses several times. So it was good to see it. It was good to see them be these renowned badasses.
Even though sometimes Vaughn didn't act like it, like the fact he decided to go break into somebody's barracks and steal their alcohol and get drunk the night before a mission.
At least it was Bix.
Right. Although a part of me is like,
yeah,
it almost might have been better for him if it was in front of the commissariat, but I don't know. He might have redeemed himself at the end.
Yeah, maybe. Was Cass a good leader?
Yes. I think she had.
I don't know if I agree with that.
She had moments where she wasn't, but I think that's what made her so human. Like
Oh, 100% she's a human leader.
yeah. And when she's talking to Constantina about this is like all my fault, she's like, you can't think like that. You have to take charge and, have no room for doubt. I think she actually was able to handle Vaughn the best she could. He tried to thwart her at every chance, second guessing her like over the intercoms, which is like, dude, you're an ass. Like you go privately and you do that. She didn't want to, give up on Popper, and he was ready, like, I'll just ditch him. She's like, no, I'm not leaving my people behind. And especially even at the end.
Even though, unfortunately, Vaughn was kind of right on that one.
I disagree. It's, but I also know how the military thinks, and it's just like, you can't leave your people behind. You can't leave your wingman behind. If you can do whatever you can for as long as you can, you have to do that. And I don't think they lost anything by because like he would have died anyway, regardless, right? They didn't lose anything in the end. Just took them a little longer.
But from their point of view, they don't know that they're bringing these people back marked for death, right? So they have all of this high brass, right? And yeah, hard decision to make. Not saying it would be an easy decision of just like, yeah, screw him, leave it. But he probably had the more practical, let's not jeopardize the mission idea of we have to leave Popper behind, unfortunately. Right. And they end up having to do it anyways. I totally understand what you're saying from like the compassionate side of it, but it did feel like Vaughn was doing the math in that case of like, yeah, this isn't going to go well. Like we're going to end up risking ourselves and our cargo that we're supposed to be getting back and is super important for this one plane.
See, the math ain't math. And I don't think Vaughn felt that way. I think he just wanted to leave. He didn't want to be there in the first place. He just wanted to go home as fast as possible.
That is also entirely possible. That is, I cannot, for Vaughn, I can't discount that for his character.
Because he didn't want to go up.
That's the reason that he
didn't want to go up at all. Like, he just kept telling her, he was just like, you're going to get us killed. It's like, dude, this is your job. I don't understand what your problem is.
He did not feel like a member of the 40K universe at all.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. That's the only reason that I really struggled with Cass being a good leader was that you need to get this under control immediately. It felt like he was there just to have a point of friction for Cass and to show what a level-headed character she was. But you needed to deal with this. And the number of times that she was like, I'm not going to rise to his bait. I'm not going to rise to his bait. Girl, you're his fucking commanding officer. Like he is now at this point trying to not only undermine you, he's trying to recruit allies to undermining you. And that's one thing that even I know from the military, once you allow one person to get a little chippy, that shit can spread. You try to keep a tight watch on that. I really wanted her.
Except in her group, though, she knew that they were not on his side. Like Constantina was like, this guy's an asshole. Cobb just kind of kept to himself. She had she did have a talk with Zijin. She's like,
right, with Shijin. Mm-hmm. She did have that. She had that talk with Shijin, and that was fine. But even Shijin was like, "Oh man, just go easy on him." And she's like, oh, "Okay, guys." His character, I really struggled with their dynamic. Their dynamic, I really didn't love. I liked her as a leader. I thought she was okay, but she did feel a little green. That part, I was like, man, at some point you're going to have to adult on this one. I didn't like that one.
Well, I think, she honestly, in the very beginning, when she calls him in her office to explain they're going to go on this run, and the way he's looking at her, she's like, oh my God, he hates me. I had no idea it was that bad, that he just hates me. Mm-hmm. And I think she tried to get stuff under control, like with the fight night, right? She got the commissars there ahead of time, let them know so that, because she knew this was going to be a problem. Kind of nip that thing in the bud. But I think it just probably shocked her that he hated her. She's like, I knew we had friction, but I had no idea that he just hated me.
Right.
So I think, honestly, she was in a rock and a hard place. I honestly think she was doing the best she could with just a complete dick. Sometimes you're just going to have those in your squad. And actually, I think that she shouldn't have risen to his bait, because if she let him bait her, then she's now playing into his hands. He can then show that she's unfit, which is what he wanted, to lead, because she's emotional. She overreacts. She starts a fight with him.
There's ways to react. There's ways to react to what he was saying without rising to the bait, right? Like, she didn't have to start screaming at him and like punch him, and like, he's behaving like a child. You can assert control over that without behaving like a child also, right? That's, I think, the part what I didn't like was she's like, well, I can either do nothing here or I can lose my shit on him. There's no other option. Like, there's no like middle ground option. There's no.
I don't know what else she could.
We're gonna assert this.
I honestly don't. So I think where she really stepped in, though, was when he's drunk and she's like, "You're not flying." Orlov's going to agree, because your arm's going to be broken. Either you can do it or Corey can do it. I don't care. So
and that's where I thought that's the thing that I'm looking for. I was looking for more of that earlier. I think that you're absolutely correct. That is where she stepped up and was like, I don't have to rise to the bait. I don't have to lose my shit on him. I don't have to get in a fight with him. I'm just going to explain to him how this is. Here's how this goes.
I just don't think
I don't know if she knew that she was going to cow him.
I just don't think earlier there was opportunity for her to do something like that. Funny thing is, I actually read that passage out to my husband, and he was like, that is 100% what would happen. It's like, you're not doing this because you have a broken arm. I don't care how it happens.
I did like that line. That was in particular very good. I really did like the way she handled that. I also liked that because, again, she finally takes control of that situation, hits him in a soft spot that I don't think she thought she was going to hit him in. And then what happens? He comes round. He's surly, but he's there. And that's what I would have liked to have seen more of. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it did make for a really nice dramatic scene there at the end when he's like, I'm coming in. Don't worry about it. I thought that was great. And I also like that Shijin's like, this is good. Okay. All right, let me ask you a question about the orcs. Were the orcs effective villains here?
Yeah. The funny thing is that even without reading from their point of view, I still found some of the reactions to things as funny. Like, I could just imagine their thought process and what they'd be saying for some of this stuff.
Absolutely. Can I ask you this? Do you think that not having a POV character from them actually made them work a little bit more?
As a villain, yeah. I mean, I've seen it both ways, right?
I agree.
Because in oh my God, what was that book? It's the first book we read this year by Mike Brooks about the space elves. Someone help me out.
Oh yeah, the Void Scarred.
Because we had their point of view, and they were still a very effective villain. But I think with this, because we're really on the from the perspective of the Aeronautica Imperialis and the Imperial Guard, I think having from their point of view might have not made it as serious. I think.
That's exactly, I agree with that. Absolutely. I think if we would have had some POV character from them, they would have by nature just been a little funny. And it would have brought the entire seriousness of the book down a little bit, I think. It would have made it more comedic. Because again, we've read so many orc things. So again, like when those guys are on the wing trying to saw it off, you could absolutely imagine this, right? Even that scene when they're fighting that big orc, you can absolutely see that from that orc's point of view, right? I think it made them a little more mysterious and scarier. It also reminded you that these are the Aeronautica Imperialis. They don't get down and dirty with the orcs. these are distance villains to them because they are in airplanes, right? They're not face to face with any of these things. So having that literal and figurative distance between them, I thought worked.
That's why I really liked the scene with Vaughn when he's trying to get his plane repaired so he can go back up, and he's watching the guard just fix bayonets and he's just like, I don't think I could do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you're probably right because you're violent. Not saying that your life isn't any more difficult or dangerous than theirs, right?
No,
Definitely difficult and dangerous.
but look when Cass and Corey went into that silo, right? They forgot some of their basic hand-to-hand combat training. And when the orc appeared, Cass was like, oh crap, I have to shoot him. Like just everything just kind of disappeared because they're not used to that.
But I thought it was preferable to the Tyranids.
Oh god,
because you need an enemy.
Tyranids. I'm so tired of the Tyranids.
Oh my god. Just tell me about it. Like, but you need one of those endless villains that just keeps coming and coming and coming, right? And can overwhelm you very quickly. But you also need something that can be a compelling air threat. And while, yes, I do know that the Tyranids have flying things, I think having other sentient beings, depending on your definition of sentient, but having another sentient being with like matching your firepower or just having irritating firepower, like when they freak out about the death copters, right? I have to say when they were like worried about him, I was like, the death copters, that's probably not. And then she's like, there's 8-1. Oh, yeah, that's going to be bad. But they lack in size. They make up for in volume.
Well, yeah, but they're like army ants, right?
Exactly swarming over. And there's something just so much more fun about an enemy that is, because again, part of you knows that the orcs, this is a riot to them. This is a great Saturday night out for them, right? Whereas the Nids would have just been doing it for the, love of the game.
Well, right, while they're slowly trying to melt the planet over time. Nids, I guess that's why I actually find the Nids kind of boring, to be honest.
Well, and with the Nids, look, they can be used so effectively. Like Leviathan, loved that book so much. But with the Nids, there's sort of an eventuality with a Nid book, right? Like, well, look, no matter what happens, this planet is borked. Or the planet is either entirely borked, or we know that they're not. We know that they're just going to try and do as much damage as they can before they all get killed, right?
It's honestly a matter of when did we catch the incursion, right? When the Nids actually appear, well, you're kind of borked unless you're able to get the Space Marines in right as they land. And if you're able to catch it, able to find the Patriarch before there's even the first ship coming by, you're pretty good. But it's like, what was that one book we read where the planet was melting? You know what I'm talking about? Oh my God.
Wasn't that Leviathan? Because that's when they talk about like the girl, they're talking about like how their skin is starting to get loose.
Was that Leviathan? Where the planet is melting because they have that girl who's like leading them? Was that Leviathan? She was like one of the cultists?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, so you either have
so much.
So you either have Leviathan, or you have that Order of the Bloody Rose book, where they figured out we had gene stealers like pretty darn quick on before the lictor could activate the beacon, so to speak. So it's like you.
Well, actually, you bring up another good point. I don't think with an Aeronautica book, if it's a Tyranid invasion, again, to your point, depending on what stage of the invasion they're in, the Aeronautica is not dealing with the Patriarch. The Aeronautica is not going to go and deal some psychic nonsense, right? They're just going to be shooting a bunch of stuff, right? This one, they could actually deal a good killer blow, or at least something that, takes even the fight out of the orcs.
Well, right. And also in this book, they were trying to contain the orcs without just doing straight bombing runs, just destroying everything. They were still trying to preserve what they had on the planet. They weren't. Yeah.
There's no doing that with the Nids.
No, that's just constant, like just bombardment.
Yeah, pretty much. So we talked a little bit about this earlier, but the The political situation on the planet was a little convoluted. Did you like it?
Yes, because it just shows how the brass just sucks.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, it didn't matter whether it was, the brass that she picked up or dealing with Havali and all of them, or her air marshal who apparently just hated all of them or just didn't understand what they were doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so
Yeah,
weird.
I couldn't figure out. That was weird, and I couldn't really figure out what the point of that was. They could have just had Orlov in there. I liked Orlov.
I liked Orlov a lot, but she, there's one moment where she makes a comment. She's like, "What is it with these ex-pilots? They don't understand anything." And he was just like, "I have no idea." So, and I mentioned that also to my husband.
I think he said the smart ones become wing commanders.
Yes. But I mentioned this to, my husband, and he was like, "That happens more often than you would think." I mean, obviously we don't have modern day sorties like that where they're constantly going on these runs. He's like, but knowing that an air marshal would be like that, he's like, that's not surprising.
Right. I liked the commentary. Jakira, though, I just don't really, we see her for like one scene and then she's just kind of there. I felt like they could have just combined her and Orlov's character into one.
I don't know.
I guess they needed someone to complain about.
I kind of like that it showed that he was trying to stand up to someone up in the brass as best as
that was good too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Orlov, definitely. I really liked Orlov's character in general. But yeah, there's a lot of, I think this is one of those things that we see a lot in guard books, and it's always fascinating to me, is the inner workings and the politics and sorry. So sorry. I'm actually enjoying talking about this one too. But the idea that, people, they're doing math. They're trying to figure out like, do we sacrifice these people over here and then hopefully have a better chance over here? There's so many political decisions going on, some of them good, some of them bad, right? And then you have the commissariat over here who's, we're going to send a message, right? And then you have the guard themselves who are like, we might go and sacrifice these people. Then you have the air guys who are like, I don't know, we could be available for that. We might not be available for that. You tell me. There's like so many working pieces. And this is just amongst the Imperial forces.
Right.
I always like the...
I mean, and I think they showed it very well in the epilogue when Cass is making the rounds. And, I really loved how that was written.
Oh my God, I loved how that was written.
Where she's in her head, like talking, and like, this has been awful last month. Yes, sir. It was just my duty, sir. And she doesn't like going to sleep
platitudes,
at night.
The general platitudes
like
that you would
sleep
say.
At night because she'll see Welland. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It was my honor, sir. And it just goes back like in her head to the platitudes, in her head to the platitudes. It was because you could feel where she'd be like a robot, 100%. And just how ridiculous it all is. And she even talks about that one drunk guardsman who was fat, who was just like, yeah, well, the guardsmen, we do everything. It's like, dude, I bet you haven't done anything if you're that overweight. So, sorry. Of course, Havali's like, well, they both work together because he's trying to save face.
Right.
It's just ridiculous. It's all ridiculous. And, one thing my husband has always said is that you get to captain on merit. Everything else is politics. He's like, there's not a single general out there that didn't get there because of politics. It's not because of merit.
I liked the way that the epilogue was. I liked the way that it was formatted because, God, if you've ever when I go to my daughter's hockey games, right? Like you just have all this stuff just plowing through your head, or like I was at we did a big like in-office thing the other day. Right. And like, you're just going through all of your own internal monologue and you have all of these complicated things that, oh my God, it's so good to see you. Yes. Oh my, I did get out and enjoy the weather. Yes. Just again, Oh my gosh, how have you been? How's your daughter doing? Oh, so glad to hear. You know, I absolutely loved it, and especially because you get onto that autopilot mode, right? Of the, again, the general platitudes, the things that you're expected to say, these just mindless interactions that you have, right? When you're not really into it, because
Hmm.
there's so many things you're so in your own head, right? And just these things come out, and the dance you go through, it just felt that felt so raw and so real,
Yeah. Like,
and I
yeah,
really liked it.
because we all have had to do it, but I just love the way how he wrote it was just so amazing. And when Emma Gregory is reading it, because she totally changes her intonation based on how she's reading it.
Hmm.
Because when she's reading it as cast with the platitudes, it's very flat and monotone. Like just brilliant interpretation.
Right. As you would expect that it would be, right?
Hmm.
Just yep, here I am. Just I could be telling you about troop placements. I could be telling you about how much we have for fuel reserves, or I could be thanking you and telling you what a great job that I did.
Right.
It just, yeah, your heart's not in it. I thought that was so well done. Um, Let me ask you. We talked about the deaths that hit us the hardest. Actually, which one did hit you the hardest?
Mm. Probably Vaughn, because it was so dramatic. Because when he's listening to Zijin getting hacked apart, and I think, it wasn't Zijin, it was Max, I think, that was getting hacked apart. He could hear it with the orc on there. And also because the whole scene was so cinematic. There's the orc trying to get at him. So what does he do? He opens up he opens up the hatch and it surprises the orc and knocks him off. That's hilarious and amazing. And then you just imagining him like trying to hold on to the stick and trying to be able to close the lid, but he can't reach it. And just imagining the cinematic of this, and then the stick bomb going down into his feet, and was like, oh my God, it was just so much. And he's like, oh, I could throw it. I was like, oh yeah, you could totally throw it. As I'm like,
Totally.
and then when he can't reach it, and he's like, comes at peace and looks at his sister, it was just like, okay, this is how it goes. And then talks about the stick bomb, exploding, what it takes from him. Like, I really hope that was an instant death, because that's a horrible way to go.
Oh my God. When they
And
described his legs and his stomach, I was like, oh
yeah.
no.
And, then the plane going down, because then it goes to Cass, seeing it. And it's like, oh my God, what's happening to Rogue? And her reaction to it. It just kept on going. And I was just like, oh my God. Like, this guy was like such a dick, but he came when it mattered.
Mm-hmm.
And I really was like rooting for him to, even though I had a feeling he wasn't going to make it, I just had this feeling. Like, I wouldn't have been surprised at the end if they all died, to be totally honest. Because, as much as I really didn't enjoy Double Eagle, there is a scene that does live in my head rent free. And it's that one pilot who got his kills and he's soaring out, but the gas is leaking in, so he's dying and doesn't even realize it. So like, that was such a great scene. And that's kind of how I feel about this death with Vaughn. Like, everything he was going through, listening to his one of his gunners getting hacked apart, then flinging the orc off, then the sticky bomb. It's just like, oh my God, just all these things is happening at once. So that
after Shijin gets shot,
yeah. So that one really got me.
Stabbed with that.
Yeah,
stabbed with the axe. Yeah,
I thought that was the gunner. I thought that was Max who got cut apart with the axe.
Shijin. They talk about him coming up when he just kind of is like.
I thought it was Max that was getting hacked apart. Well, either way, it's not a good way to go when you're trapped in your little seat there.
No.
Because like, I didn't like it when Corey was shot. When she's kind of looking and she sees the blood spattered, where the blister is. It's like, oh my God. So I knew she was gone.
But then she keeps talking to her and asking her for information, and you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
girl.
But no, I think it was Vaughn. Constantina, when I realized what Constantina was going to do, basically she was doing a Randy Quaid at the end of Independence Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, but it didn't get to me until Strax said, it's been fun.
Right.
Because I just had gotten over Vaughn that happened. I'm like, oh my God, like I have to keep this together. I'm in freaking carpool line here.
Constantina's death didn't bother me at all because I was like, oh man, that's fitting for her. Like that is 100% how she would have
It was.
wanted to go out, right?
Like,
it was so I was like,
she even talked
sad.
about that. She was like, this is how the universe orchestrated it, exactly how she always imagined she would go. And that's so badass for her. And I really wasn't getting sad until Strax said it's been fun.
I actually kind of liked that for both of them. I was like, good. I was worried that they weren't going to get a final line to each other, and they did. And I thought, yeah, that's just so fitting for them. So I was really, I happy for them. I don't know. if you have to die as a pilot, that seemed like a good way for them to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at least that was probably also very quick death.
Right. And they did take down the Gargant.
They did. They absolutely did. Which this is good. I don't know which death. I think if I had to say, it was probably Corey's death because Cass kept talking to her.
Mm-hmm.
Kept asking her for information. And I actually had this moment where I was like, oh, okay, no, I think she's actually okay. Like she might be okay.
Right.
She is not. She is not okay.
Especially when
especially
when it actually had, when Corey's telling her like it's time to go home. I'm like, oh, okay, she's fine. No, she wasn't. But I was convinced that Zeke was fine. That he got that tourniquet on and he needed a minute and just kind of passed out. That's what I really thought.
I really did think that he was going to pull through. And no. His was like everybody I felt like had a really good badass moment.
Mm-hmm.
And his was kind of off screen, right? Because, I've got that, he's got the med kit. He's going to be fine. No, he's not.
No, but everything up to that point was
hope.
Pretty dang badass.
Yeah. Fighting an orc in your hold. Oh my gosh. I did like that he at least updated Cass that, no, it's been taken care of.
Yeah, we had an intruder, but it's all good. I'm fine. I'm going to go sit down now.
Were their lives spent well? Was it worth it?
No. No, because honestly, I think when they saw the amount of the air run that was coming through, you do that math. It's time to go.
Yeah. Exactly. Those ships, like, here's the thing. In the 40k universe, the people are expendable and cheap, right? Especially the Imperial Guard. And I'm not trying to say, I'm not trying to sound callous. Planes are not. Planes are expensive. Yeah. And the pilots are not as cheap as the Guard, right? They are specially trained people. So, while, again, this is just the math that they do in the 40k universe, right? That, sometimes it's acceptable to sacrifice maybe a few 100,000 humans, right? But those planes are probably worth at least 5,000 or 10,000 guardsmen a piece.
Right.
And you sacrificed it for this. Was it the right thing to do from a moral perspective? Yeah, probably. From a tactical perspective,
I don't even know if it was right, morally. I really don't.
I honestly don't know either because
most of them died anyway.
And it's not just Vagabond Squadron. You have to think about the other planes who are going down, the other captains and pilots and all of their crews.
Well, I'm also thinking of like the guardsmen, like most of them died anyway. So they couldn't get them all out of the EJI. So like, I don't know, because we keep talking about, well, they were doing the math. Well, this time they didn't do the math well, which made me think that Jakira wanted to kill them. That's the only thing I can think of. She either wants, like, you know, it's kind of like the whole issue with, you know, Caiaphas Cain, like, does his commander always is just like, I'm going to, like, see what I can get you killed this time. And that's what it really felt like with Jakira. Either she was out to get them killed, or she thought, how to put this? She thought because, trying to think, she like had her own self-importance. Importance was way too high. You're like, this is happening and it's going to happen because I'm telling you to do it. Just thinking about herself and what she wants them to do versus what's actually the math. What's the practical? What's the safe thing to do? Which is why, you know, Orlov was like, you know, she wanted to keep y'all. The other time he's like, she wanted to keep y'all out there, but I said it's going to be kind of hard to do that without fuel and ammunitions. She didn't care about any of that. She wants it to be known that her pilots are out there doing this stuff. Doesn't matter if they survive or not. They were out there because she instructed them to be. Which is even when she told Orlov, she's like, what are we supposed to do? He's like, I don't know, shoot them. She's like, you want us to do what? There's so many of them. And for what? So they could get out like a few hundred guardsmen?
Right. Yeah, I agree with that with Jakira. I believe that she just like wants to be seen participating. Oh yeah, no, that's my pilots out there. Oh yeah, because if it succeeds, right? Oh yeah, no, my people were part of that, and look how I supported that.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't succeed, well, you know, at least we were out there trying. We weren't, you know,
Right.
holed up somewhere not being part of this. So I absolutely think there was an arrogance thing from her. And I also think she probably has the bad side of the math equation, right? Well, we can probably sacrifice this Minnie. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, the whole going and rescuing them, I still will stand by, I don't think the entire mission made sense. Like, I think they had already done the math on that, and that would have been fine. But yeah, the second what do you call it? The spy plane up in the air, the viewer plane,
Mm-hmm.
the second that they were like, are you seeing this? Time to go home. Time to go home. Sorry, guys, we tried, but that's not happening. Now we are in the sunk cost fallacy here.
Well, I mean, I still disagree. I still think they didn't do the math because only Havali knew. He hadn't discussed this with anybody else in high command to do the math. He made that decision to save his own face. So I don't think he did the math at all. Because if he had done the math and decided this was not a good thing, he would have talked about it with other people. But he didn't. He didn't talk about it with other people in high command. He decided to pretend he didn't know about any of this stuff. He was ready to sacrifice them. Nobody else knew about it. And it took Cass embarrassing him. Because then he could have been like, okay, thank you for this information. Then he could have gone to everybody else and been like, here's the math on this. And then they could have made that decision then.
Possibly.
But no, he had to be like, well, I'm not doing this because I need to save face. Like all those generals do. So,
yeah, which again, another Warhammer 40k tale as old as time. But that aside,
this isn't failing because of me, obviously.
No. When all of that air power comes up,
right then, like that should have totally been like, it's time to go.
Yeah, now this is too costly.
If you guys can evacuate people, great, but go. Like there's literally nothing you guys can do at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. And so in the end, we sacrificed just from Vagabond Squadron, we sacrificed 2/3 of them. Cass is literally the sole survivor.
Well, I mean, technically it was 3/4 because Cobb earlier.
Oh, that's true, huh? Yeah, that's absolutely true, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we can go with that. Cass
or
is
4/5
the sole survivor.
Right? Because Eleanor earlier. So
that's a different campaign, though.
This planet sucks.
Yeah, this planet does suck. But she's literally the sole survivor of this. And again, to your point, like they get off like 100, 200, maybe 300 guardsmen. Man, I mean, to be fair, they're Mordian guards, so they're pretty badass.
And I
That's only some of
I
them.
did like it that Welland lived because I thought he died.
Oh, I was actually really glad that he lived. I was glad that I really liked, by the way, I really liked Strick from the Scions.
Yeah.
That one oh my God, he was excellent. I was worried that they were going to do Robbie MacNiven was going to do some like heavy-handed, I'm a big asshole type of character. And nope, he was just as Tempestus Scion, not very personable, not very warm and fuzzy, and absolutely there to do his duty.
Right.
Oh, I hope somehow he got out.
I don't know. Last we saw him,
Lie to me.
He
Lie to me.
took out a knife with a bunch of orcs.
Lie to me, Carrie. Lie to me. He's going to be fine. It's going to be a Warhammer 40k happy ending. The Krogan, the orcs baked him a cake.
The orcs baked him a cake, right?
And the Gargant turned into ice cream.
Okay, I mean, it might have on the way down. We don't know.
To be fair, if they believe hard enough. Do you want to see what happens next with Vagabond Squadron? Do you want there to be more Vagabond Squadron?
Yep.
Same. Yeah, I think I was a little nervous because we're accustomed to seeing Robbie MacNiven do bolter porn. I was a little nervous about him doing Aeronautica Imperialis, but hell yeah. Mm-hmm. Again, I am here for it. He has that sense of action down so well, and I didn't love her leadership, but I like Cass as a character. I like Cass as a person. I'm excited to see what she's going to do rebuilding Vagabond Squadron. There's probably a lot you can do there just in terms of a next book.
Yeah, Robbie Mac is definitely becoming one of my favorite authors.
Completely.
In modern day Warhammer 40k with the Black Library.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Him and Andy Clark.
Oh, God. Love me some Andy Clark. See, those are the two books that I wanted in movies. One was about Andy Clark, and now this one with Robbie Mac. So,
yes, that's fair. That's fair. I really like it, and this is so superficial and stupid, but the artwork on this book is also excellent.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the artwork. They nailed it.
When I actually was reading the book and not listening to it, I did find myself flipping. Well, first of all, I love looking at that. That's nice.
So good.
See where Robbie wrote to my good friend Carrie. Wrote it right there. See,
no.
It says it right there. Yep.
I can read it.
But yeah, I kept looking at that because I was just beautiful.
It's beautiful, beautiful artwork. I don't know who did the artwork for this one, but yeah, they nailed it. It's absolutely excellent. And Vaughn looks exactly how you would expect of Vaughn. That's how I kept picturing him.
Pissy, skinny, blonde guy.
Yeah, pretty much. We are going to shift gears though, and I'm not sure if bolter porn in future.
Yeah, maybe.
But mayhaps with Master of Rites. I'm excited. This is Farron Arios. We haven't seen him in a hot minute.
No.
And this, from what I have seen online, this takes place very shortly after the Hand of Abaddon? Whatever the last Dawn of Fire book was. And but also clearly takes place right after the Plague Wars, because it's a reference in the Death Guard being there. And I like two things in life, the Ultramarines and the Plague Wars. So gimme.
Hey.
Yep. Oh, he's retaking worlds from the Death Guards. Oh, that's going to be fun. Get him a bucket of bleach.
Look at this. So pretty.
That is really pretty. But you know what? This is another one that, that is nice. That is nice artwork. Sometimes the artwork leaves a little bit to be desired, but nope, me gusta.
Yep, I really like it. Even the servo skulls, even though they generally creep me out, but the way with the parchment is just really, really nice.
The
And I love
skulls.
the banner in the back.
The servo skulls don't creep me out. It's the cherubim.
The cherubs, that just doesn't need to exist because that's stuff of nightmares. All of that. No.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. So we both really enjoyed Leontis by Rob Young, and we both enjoyed Longshot. So
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I'm trying to manage my expectations, but I'm excited. Again, you had me at Ultramarines and Death Guard, Plague War references. I'm here for it.
Yeah, 100%. I'm kind of mad at the Black Library at this point for releasing. We have not read a bad book yet this year, right? Fight me on that. And when did they all come out? Like in the last 2 months of 2025. Like, you guys can't cram 10 amazing books in the last 2 months. You guys just can't.
And then I think we have for this year alone, I know we still have Demolisher to read, but we have the Apostle book, we have that Death Rider book, we have that the Adeptus Sororitas one with Danny Ware, and then there's another one that we just recently bought or is coming.
I think I've only bought 3 because Apostle just arrived yesterday, and then I got 2 this past weekend, so they'll be coming like in a week, like next week.
But maybe that is right. I'm trying to think now. Yeah, maybe you're right. It just feels like I was looking at all of this and I was like, oh, this is a lot. Like, this is a lot.
I mean, I'm
not complaining.
I knew that Master of Rites and Demolisher were going to round out March. So then we have, April and May already set with Apostle and then those other 2 books. Is anything else releasing this weekend or for pre-order?
No, I was just double checking that right now, and no.
Okay, that's good.
Looks like there's a lot of Ossiarch Bone Reaper stuff.
Okay. But then we know this summer it's not going to have anything, so we'll have to figure out a plan then because they hate us. And then they're going to stack November and December again because they hate us.
That is absolutely entirely possible. Oh, no. Ghost Legion. Ghost Legion's the other one. Remember we just got, sorry, I was like, there's another book that we bought recently. We have not just bought the 3 books. Because there was the Adeptus Sororitas book, the Alpha Legion book by Mike Brooks, there was the Death Rider book, and then there was Apostle.
I'm going to be mad if I missed getting one of these because I don't remember. And
2 of them came out on the same weekend, I think.
Let's see.
I think.
Okay, so what is coming? Okay, that's Estrad Turga, Pyre of Faith. Okay, and then is it last week? It's past Saturday. Death Rider and Ghost Legion. Oh, okay. Got it. Oh yeah, Death Rider. I'm excited about Death Rider. Even though it's not Steve Lyons, it's okay. It's Rory, and I liked what he did with the orcs and that Red Gobbo, so.
Yes, same.
Okay, so we got 4 books coming.
Yes. And then we still have Master of Right and Demolisher. So we're pretty crammed up here. We got some good stuff coming up. I'm really excited for it.
Looks like we got up until May? Not a bad thing.
That's kind of crazy to think about it in those terms, but yes, you're correct. I'm really excited for these next 2 though. Like really excited for them.
Yes, I'm very excited about Demolisher, but I'm also very excited about reading Rob Young. So, and the
100%.
audiobook is one of my favorite narrators, John Banks. So I may be listening to this one again.
Oh, I like John Banks too.
Yeah. Love John Banks. He can read me anything. He could read me Goodnight Moon, to be honest. I love his voice.
I've been on a kick the last 4 I've read out loud to my husband. So it helps that he's been finding all sorts of 4X games that he can mindlessly play while I
was wondering,
read.
is he playing some games while you're doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Do you
take us out, Carrie?
Do you remember when we used to play video games? I do. Those were good times.
God, it has been forever. It has been absolutely forever.
Yeah, same.
Nothing's really come out that's really grabbed me, though. The last thing that really grabbed me was Rogue Trader, and I was low-key obsessed with that game.
I need to play that game, man. I just need to sit down and focus. The problem, anyway, maybe after indoor archery season, I don't know. Anyway, you know how this goes. You have sports kids.
Oh, yes.
So, all right, but I am going to take us out now, otherwise we're going to get on that tangent. So you've listened to the Warhammer 40k book club regarding Vagabond Squadron by Robbie MacNiven. Be sure to join us next time for Master of Rights by Rob Young. We are an unofficial book club and not affiliated with the Black Library or any of its affiliates. You can find both the vidcast and podcast on our website, WH40kbookclub.com. If you like this episode, please like, subscribe, give a review, and all those wonderful things to the vidcast on YouTube, Spotify, or Rumble, or the podcast literally anywhere you get podcasts. And come join our Discord. It's growing. We have a lot of discussions going on there. It's a lot of fun. Sometimes people share what they're painting. Not me, because I suck at it. Our site also has articles about our adventures in reading other Warhammer 40k books and short stories outside of the book club books, so please stay a while and read from a crag. All right, I need to go wash this ashes off. It's driving me crazy. I keep staring at it in my camera like, oh my God.
We'll take off the ashes of Sanguinius.
He did die for our sins.
He did. Yours and Horace's, but yes, yours as well.
That's right. He died to save all of us so we could all live in this horrible future.
In the darkest of timelines.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.